you ready?
Yeah, turn up the heat.
Are you ready?
Is he ready? Oh, yeah, he's ready.
It's go time.
Ready to go beyond the scores and stats.
I love it.
Good.
Let's bring it in. It's showtime, right?
Welcome to High on Sports.
The whole deal is like some kind of crazy game.
Exclusively on MorningShowCentral.com.
Hello, and welcome to High on Sports. I am Ralphie, and with me, as always,
Ashley.
And I am Von Erich.
This hat was a terrible idea now. It is literally over my ears. I can hear you guys, though.
Okay.
Say something. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, this will work.
Okay.
This is a good idea. Not a stupid idea at all. Thank you for joining us on our last show of 2013. Last High on Sports of 2013. That is next week. Don't forget. Is the Christmas special, end of the year, blowout, whatever I don't know if he's calling it an official name or something, but
No name for it.
Christmas special, a heartwarming, everything in between. Von Erich will be visited by 3 ghosts, and they will teach him a valuable lesson. And
Can you have sex with a ghost?
I think that's called necrophilia.
I just need to prepare for next week.
No, now you just posed a good question. Would sex with a ghost count as necrophilia? That's a good question. One for another day, though, because it is the holidays. And this is a sports show.
It's a sports show.
Remember, as always, you can call the show toll-free, 1-888-668-0742. Email your questions or comments to shows with an S at morningshowcentral.com. You can tweet at us at high_on_sports or with the hashtag High on Sports or hashtag MSC Radio Network. Of course, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/High on Sports. And go to the website, it's highonsports.net. It's the archive of all our past shows, the blog with a weekly contribution by Mark, or Mark's blog, whatever you want to call it at this point. The archive, all that fun stuff. Again, that is highonsports.net. All right, we got a jam-packed show. It is round 1. Let's go.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa.
The heck happened to our bell?
Bell's on Christmas vacation.
I know, right?
Bell's off for the holidays already, I guess. I want to we're going to start this part off of the show talking about how the playoffs are shaping up in the NFL, because there's only 2 weeks left, and there's an astounding 20 teams still alive in the NFL right now.
That's the way they want it.
20 teams. 4 playoff spots have been locked up. That's it, with 2 games left for everybody.
It's gonna be a crazy
that means
2
there
weeks.
is 16 teams vying for 8 spots. That is nuts. But first, we're going to start at the bottom, just because this is the last time we're really going to talk about them. It's kind of a send-off, because obviously we come back in 2 weeks, and the first round of the playoffs are already going on, so the Browns have long been forgotten. But let's talk Browns for a minute here. I really liked that game yesterday, and probably not for the best reasons. Not reasons that make me a very good fan, I don't think. I loved what I saw mostly out of the defense, as far as making turnovers and stuff like that. I loved that I saw this kid come off a practice squad and average 4.8 yards a carry, Edwin Baker, and score a touchdown, obviously. I love that Gordon got in there, got his touchdown, as he has for the last 5 weeks in a row. I liked a lot of individual performances. Stuff to give me hope going into next season. And then, thankfully, they managed to lose at the end. So they didn't lose any of that valuable draft positioning. And Minnesota won. Quarterback-needy Minnesota. They won, putting them behind or ahead, however you look at it, in the draft. They'll be picking after the Browns in the draft right now. If the season ended right now, Ken, we have 2 games left, and they can go anyway. Hopefully the Browns find a way to lose twice. I don't know. I'm not actually rooting for that. I can't do that, and I don't think anybody really does. I don't think anybody can actively be like, if we just lose these last 2, we can be, a better pick than Jacksonville, or, a better pick than Houston, or I don't think anybody's going to get a better pick than Houston, but I can't do that. But it's definitely something that after the game's over, I can be more realistic about it. Like, after that loss to the Patriots, at first I was heartbroken. I was pissed.
Yeah.
But once it was over, give it a couple hours, I'm like, you know what? It's good. I don't want to win myself into... I don't want them to win themselves into mediocrity. I'd rather lose into a better draft spot than win at the end when it's meaningless.
Yeah. And that's basically what it is. Once you're out of the playoffs, it's basically you're just playing for pride. And at that point, suck it up and get the draft pick.
And I won't not root for the Browns in any of these situations. But
and I mean, obviously, like if I was a player too, I'm not gonna not play so we could get a better draft pick. You're gonna play hard.
I'm worried about myself and my career and my future and stuff like that. Which is one of the reasons I don't personally believe in throwing games because or throwing seasons. Or anything like that, because to an owner it can be like, yeah, let's lose this year and get that good draft pick. People always said that about the Colts, like maybe they were throwing it 2 years ago or a year ago, whatever. When they wound up with the number 1 overall pick, everybody said, oh no, I guarantee they're just like, we just won't really try, stuff like that. No, because you got to think about the players, not even just the star players. Sometimes star players they've got a fix in town and they're not going anywhere. But a lot of times, it's about those middle-of-the-road guys who have to win, have to perform, if they want to be brought back on this or any other roster next season. You can't just throw a game to be like, well, this will make the owner happy because we'll get a better draft pick next year. Well, then they can't justify re-signing you. It's like, yeah, well, you played terribly, then goodbye. And that's ultimately, when you get like this, it's gotta be like, at some point, you're playing for your job. You're playing for survival. But either way, the Browns drop another one. This was actually the worst defensive performance as far as giving up yards and stuff like that all season. They actually gave up their first 100-yard rusher this week. It was 127 yards to Matt Forte. So, unfortunately, the Browns will end the season with at least one 100-yard rusher and at least one 300-yard passer. Of course, Tom Brady last week. So, oh well. Either way, it's an exciting football team. We won't get into all the X's and O's and stuff like that. There's plenty to talk about as we lead up to the draft next year and everything like that. But disappointing overall. There's no way around it. I do feel good. I feel better about this team than last season.
Yeah.
And I feel very optimistic and very bright for the future. And I don't even think that's just the gullible Browns fan in me. I do feel like there's some good things in place. There's some bad things that could be bad that are in place. I'm not gonna trick myself here, but the fact of the matter is, it's another 10-loss season. It's double-digit losses again for what is it now? The 6th year in a row? 5th, 6th year in a row?
I think so.
10 out of the last 11, I believe.
Yeah.
Has been double-digit losses. That's
It's tough to live with. It really is.
It is, and it's tough because a lot of people say like, oh, well, look over that time span. How many coaches have they had over 10 years?
Yeah.
Honestly, a ton. Like, I'm not going to sit here
one
and try
every
to figure
year
it out, but it's it's got to be 5 or close
11.
to it. But I mean, coaches just in the last decade, there hasn't been consistency. But when you start when you have multiple double-digit losses, it's hard to justify keeping a regime in there.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of changes and turnover, but it's hard to justify turnover staying. And there have been coaches in the past during this time span that had their systems really had more time to flourish. It could have been something, but this is the NFL now. I mean, the coach that blows my mind more than anything is who's the guy out of Cincinnati? Why am I forgetting his name? Whatever. The head coach in Cincinnati. He's been Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis. He's been so up and down the whole time. He'll have just a disastrous season with the Bengals.
Yeah, and then look at this year.
Everybody's certain that he's gone. Yeah. And then instead they'll announce a contract extension. And I remember one year he was outraged. Like, everybody was convinced he's gone. And then all of a sudden he comes out and he was outraged and he wanted an indoor training facility or he was going to leave. And it was like he totally just turned the situation on them. When you come out like that with like demands, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to fire him. But then he comes out like, I'm leaving unless they do this. All of a sudden, you look like to the media and everybody else like, wow, they better make these changes. He's calling the shots here. But no, that's one that's always baffled me because he keeps getting a chance. And I mean, this is a second quarterback, almost like a second whole team that he's winning with. Really, it is a second team that he's winning with now than before, because he had a success with Carson Palmer and Chad Johnson and all of that, and none of those guys are still around. Obviously now it's AJ Green and Gio Bernard and Andy Dalton Andy Dalton and everything. Like it's weird. It's like an entirely different team. It's just so strange to think about in the NFL, a coach surviving multiple quarterbacks and things like that. And that's been another major issue for the Browns. Obviously, the quarterback situation. It's not something that'll be an easy fix. And honestly, we can go on and on and on, and we could have all had the same conversation. This, for all you know, at this point, this could just be a replay of last year's last show of the year, with everything we've said about the Browns so far. Honestly, coaches need to stop changing. Quarterbacks need to stop changing. The problem is still here. It's the same situation. I do, however, want to say about the draft next year. We don't know any plans and stuff like that. So I like to make a way too early prediction here. I think right now, this is my gut that's usually always right. My gut is telling me that I think the Browns are going to do one of two things in the first round here. They're either going to shock the world and make an aggressive move to get up and take the best quarterback on the board, whether that's going to be Teddy Bridgewater. I think it will be Teddy Bridgewater. Or if for some freak accident he stays in school, which I really don't think he will, although now he's talking about it like it's a possibility, but I don't buy that. I think they're going to either move up and get him or potentially Derek Carr. Or if that doesn't, or if they don't do that, I think they're going to take Blake Bortles out of the University of Central Florida, and I think they're going to do that with their first pick as opposed to their later pick. He could potentially be there with the later pick, but I think he's a guy that's going to start climbing up a lot of people's draft boards as we get closer and closer to that May draft date. Stupid draft, putting it in May. Like, I hate that. It's like, granted, they only moved it like maybe a week or so, but it's just dumb. It feels like it's forever from now. Like, that's like 5 months. That's ridiculous.
We've got Olympics to deal with before that.
Exactly. We have to deal with that garbage.
Now.
It's a Winter Olympics. Come on. It is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but there's bobsledding. That's fun.
Let me tell you something about the Olympics right now.
Only for the Jamaicans.
Let me tell you something about the Olympics right now. Is the Summer Olympics are an amazing display of countries coming together and sports and everything like that. The Winter Olympics is like 48 different kinds of sliding. And that's all it is.
Hey,
Think about it.
Yeah, Shaun White's going to win
They
a bunch
are all
of
just different forms of sliding.
Shaun White's going to win a bunch of gold medals for America on the snowboard.
Whatever.
Our basketball team will win. Our hockey team might do something.
Basketball team summer.
Oh, shit, that is summer.
Right?
See,
and suddenly the Olympics are not
It
interesting.
throws me off because, it's technically in the winter season.
It's a
makes
sport
no
we play in the
goddamn
winter,
sense. That
yeah.
makes no sense. Okay, so we have bobsledding,
Hockey. That one where they're skiing and shooting for some reason.
Figure skating.
Hey, I'll watch figure skating. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
And
there's a lot more figure skating than people think. I'll say that.
Yeah,
at least.
it is. It isn't easy.
There's a complex system of angles and curvatures going on in their heads that we couldn't even understand sitting here at a desk with multiple computers in front of me, let alone they have to have going on in their head while skating around on ice. Because you have to. I'm not going to get too much into figure skating. I'm not a huge figure skating guy, but I will just say in their defense, you have to skate on this arc, this like imaginary arc, and when you jump up on your spin, you have to land exactly like a continuation of that curve.
Yeah, because
you're
on
massive
a blade.
deductions. That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, we know.
Well, you'll fall and bust your ass because you're on a half-inch blade.
Well, we know what Ralphie did in his afterlife.
He was a figure skater.
I couldn't do that, and not even from like, oh my god, it's embarrassing. I'm skating like that's just hard.
Have you ever been on the ice?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we gotta. You go skating sometimes. I mean, it's not like I'm going out there like Kirsty Yamaguchi and stuff, but go.
I can't
go
stop.
with some friends. Just go to the ice rink and stuff. It's not something I do often. I don't think I've done it in multiple years.
No.
But
I took hockey when I was at BG. I can't stop. I had to use either the wall or people. When I was trying to stop, I would just bear hug someone, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I can't stop."
It's just a stranger. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I can you skate me to the exit? I'm so
Arms
sorry.
flailing toward person.
I'm so sorry.
Knocking him over.
Let's talk about the playoffs, though, because we were doing that. But
Yeah.
damn you, figure skating. All right, here's what we're looking at right now. Seattle has got it on lock. They clinched a playoff spot, and that is it in the NFC.
You mean AFC?
No, Seattle's
I
in the
thought
NFC.
I don't know why I said. I thought you heard. I heard Cincinnati in my head.
Nah.
You said Seattle,
Cincinnati
but
does not have it locked up, actually.
I
Seattle
heard-
has it on lock. New Orleans looks like they'll be the 2 seed right now, but don't count out Carolina right behind them. New Orleans did beat Carolina once. They play again, actually, I think this week. Yeah, that's right. They'll play again this week. That is exciting. A couple of 10-4s fighting for the division.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. Go Panthers. I'm really excited for the Panthers. Chicago 8-6 is winning their division right now, and Philadelphia 8-6 is also winning theirs. They actually play, I believe, to end the season, or I think it might be next week. They'll play the Cowboys, so there's another win right there. They're 9-6. You can pretty much count that, which is good. I just hate the Cowboys. Arizona not far out of it, 9-5. Everybody else is sort of 7-6 Detroit, 7-6 Green Bay. Now, well, 7-6-1. Green Bay, I should say. I forgot about the tie. Detroit playing tonight against Baltimore. That is actually a game with relatively big playoff implications. Detroit, I believe Detroit holds the tiebreaker over Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, which would mean a win tonight for Detroit puts them back in first place in the NFC North. That is ridiculous. And not to mention Baltimore, suddenly that puts them at 8-6 and tied with Miami for the last wildcard spot. So these are two teams fighting for their playoff lives here. So that's exciting. But we come over to the AFC, and we see that Denver has locked up a playoff spot, and so has Kansas City, which is insane to think they're both 11-3, so they're at least going to have 11 wins each. One of them is going to lose the division and be a wild card, so one of them is going to be an 11-plus win 5 seed.
Yeah, that sucks.
One of them is going to win 11, 12, maybe 13 games and have to go out on the road to start. That's not even fair. They're going to have to go to most likely Cincinnati or possibly Indianapolis at this point. Because New England, Cincinnati, and Miami are leading right now for those last playoff spots. 2 of them divisional, 1 wild card. But none of them have clinched anything. New England would have clinched had they won and theoretically ended Miami's playoff hopes. Not officially, but for the most part. But they did not. New England just look like a shell of themselves. They still find ways to beat teams that they're supposed to beat usually, but other than that, they've just been terrible. By the way, another stat I found out today about the Browns, only 2 of their losses have come from teams that were worse than them. So that's a fun fact for you. So you can at least sit back. Exactly. You can at least sit back and say that they're losing to teams that are theoretically better than them on paper. So that's something. I'm trying to remember what the other loss was, but the one was to obviously Jacksonville.
Yeah. Was
just terrible. And the other one is actually I don't know. It's somebody. Doesn't matter. But I think it's not just teams that are better than them. Sorry. I mean teams with a losing record. They only lost to 2 teams with a losing record. The other one is, I don't even know. I lost it. Doesn't matter. But that's the point. Pittsburgh, there you go. I think they still have a losing record, right? Does Pittsburgh still have a losing record?
I don't know. Did they win?
Nuts.
Did they lose again?
They're 6-8. That's right. You're right. Good call. So, and that's another thing, too, I was thinking about is the end, the Browns-Steelers game. I don't care at this point about that game. At the end of the season.
Honestly, I do because I just hate Pittsburgh and I hate their goddamn fans.
I'm not going to root against the Browns.
I hate them.
I'm still going to want the Browns to win no matter what here. But
I don't care if it costs a draft pick. I hate them.
Unless it's a situation where they're somehow keeping in the playoff race because they're not out of it right now.
At 6-8, they're not out of it?
No, they're not out of it. Fun fact. If Miami and Baltimore both lose out,
Pittsburgh,
they would be a full-way tie, and I think they have the tiebreaker. So, like I said, 20 teams are still in it right now. It's messed up who's still in it right now. Almost everybody. The Browns, by the way, with their loss this week, statistically eliminated. So the Browns, they are one of those 12 that
last week
done.
We were eliminated when we went. Got our 9th loss.
No, actually, they weren't statistically eliminated yet. Though.
Oh, really?
Fun fact, yeah.
Oh, because Miami just got their 8th win.
Out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You start messing around with that garbage of like if so and so loses out and if you lose out and everything.
It's kind of how it was last year. If we won our last 4 games and everybody else lost their last 4, we would have squeaked in, and then clearly you know how that went.
Exactly. Let's talk something else though. Something that is promoting optimism to say the very least. And it's why I'm wearing this hat right now if you're watching the video. It's the Cavaliers.
Oh, they're on a roll lately.
It's a great hat, by the way.
It is. I like it.
It's a wonderful hat. It's very warm. Too warm for inside of a studio, but, very warm. Great for outside in the snow. But anyways, the Cavaliers, I was looking at the standings today. You want to hear the most interesting thing? The Cavaliers, most people have thought they've been playing terrible and everything like that, and really just a disappointing team, and they were sort of disappointing there for a while, but they are currently 2.5 games out of the 3 seed. The number 3 seed in the NBA is Atlanta at 12-12, 8.5 games behind Indiana, and then there's Cleveland at 9-14, 11 games in back. of Indiana. So only 2.5 games behind the number 3 seed right now.
We're only a half game behind being in the playoffs.
Oh, exactly. Them. I mean, taking a shot at the 7-8 spot. That's no question at this point. But 2.5 games out.
Yeah,
as bad
number
as
3.
people have thought the Cavaliers have been.
Clearly, the rest of the NBA is just as bad.
I'm telling you, in the East, there is Indiana, there is Miami, and then
that's it.
everybody else.
Yeah.
That's it. Indiana 20-3, Miami 17-6. Then comes 12-12 Atlanta, 11-14 Boston, Detroit 11-14, Charlotte 10-14, Toronto 9-13, Chicago 9-13.
Out of the top 8 spots, there's only 2 teams in the East that are above 500.
Out of the whole
and
thing,
one
there's
is
only,
out of the whole thing.
there's only 2 teams in the East above 500. Then
All right.
we come out west where there's teams above
clearly.
500 that aren't in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Golden State at 13-12 is just outside, by the way. I mean, going from the bottom to the top, Dallas 14-10, Denver 14-9, Phoenix 14-9. By the way, who'd have saw that coming? Houston 16-9, Clippers 16-9, Oklahoma City's 19-4, San Antonio's 19-4, and Portland is 21-4. By the way, and we'll dig this all back up once we get near the end of the NBA season and we can dig out the old time capsule and listen to our NBA picks. I had Portland winning their division, by the way.
What
So,
are they in? The West?
21-4. Yeah, they're
Northwest
With who?
with Oklahoma City and Denver, Minnesota.
okay. Actually,
and Utah.
I think I actually had them finishing second in the division. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, not
think
if
I still
Oklahoma.
had-
You're not
yeah.
going to pick them over OKC.
I wasn't gonna pick them over OKC, but if you look at it, they're over OKC right now. So.
And they are,
But I did pick them.
which is
yeah.
odd.
This
Where
is
the
absolutely
hell did they
insane.
learn how to play
All these
basketball?
teams that people really thought were kind of tanking. Now, I know I started the show up by saying I don't really believe in tanking or throwing games and stuff like that, but I do think there is a way to do it, and I think it's more prevalent in the NBA, is that trading away people these salary moves where you're opening
Yeah.
salary so you can sell it to your fans. It's like, look at all the money we have to spend. But it's like, you just gave everyone away. Like, I mean, there's situations like that, like Phoenix, who I said that one was a surprise at 14-9. So it very much is. They traded, I can't even remember who it was now, but they traded away one of their starters to the Wizards in exchange for I'm bringing up the name right now. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place on names and everything. But oh yeah, right. Obviously, Emeka Okafor. They traded for Emeka Okafor, who's pretty much not going to play this year, who's injured right now. They traded for an injured player, and I mean, there's not many more ways to make this, more subtle. They traded for a guy who pretty much won't be able to play this season, hoping that they'll tank, manage to get up and get a guy like Wiggins, get one of those early picks in this, which many believe will be a very good draft, and then all of a sudden you have Emeka Okafor joining your team next year. It's kind of a brilliant move if you're trying to suck right now. So, but Phoenix, clearly one of those teams that sucks so bad they can't even successfully do bad. Like everybody thought the Browns were when they traded Trent Richardson and immediately went to back-to-back games. It was like, they're so terrible they can't
we
even
won
lose.
3 in a row after
They can't
that.
even throw. Yeah, that's right, they did. They did end up ripping off 3 games in a row. That's right.
And
But-
then we lost, and then we won one more, and then it's just been, we pretty much jumped off a
Yeah.
cliff and exploded.
yeah, we haven't won in a couple weeks.
Yep.
But who's counting besides the stats and us and everyone in our business? But other than that, nobody even notices. No, but the Cavaliers, they've been honestly. I keep wanting to say, are they starting to turn a corner? Are they starting to? They've turned, guys. I think it's pretty safe to say that at this point. 4 of 6 they've won, and if you look at it, the only losses over that span. Oh, well, actually, we could even expand it. It's 5 of 7 they've won, and the only losses there came to Atlanta, which it is what it is, and to Miami, and even that Miami, that was a late one. That was when they came back from a 19-point deficit, and you don't want to take moral victories when you can erase a deficit like that. You don't want to be at the end like, well, they came back from a deficit. Good for them. It sucks, but at the same time, look at the rest of the streak. They beat Orlando 109-100. That's one they should win. 109-94 over the Knicks. One they should win. The Clippers, 88-82, they took down the Clippers. They held Lob City to 82 points. 82 points for the Clippers. That's impressive. And Denver, 98-88. At the time, Denver was coming into town with, a 6-game winning streak?
I think so.
I want to say. That's not bad. I mean, they have Portland coming up tomorrow, which is going to be a real test. Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, Boston. I mean, it's very favorable.
Yeah.
Almost any time they're playing someone from the East. Almost any time. And obviously being in the East, that's who most of your games are going to come from. I mean, Indiana's a challenge in the division, but look at that. Orlando, Brooklyn, Philadelphia. We get to play the Jazz. We get to play the Jazz. We get to go to Utah and just beat up the Jazz. That'll be great.
They won a game yet? They're so terrible.
I'm telling you, it's a promising month. When if you look at it, I do feel like we're going to go back and not be like, oh, what a horrible time.
Yeah.
I think we're going to look back and be like, well, that was a bad month. Because honestly, this month has been pretty damn good so far.
Yeah. And it's because I think they're finally figuring out how to be more consistent.
Exactly.
Because there was, at the beginning of the season, it was just they either played really good defense and they couldn't make a basket to save their lives. The next game, they'd score points, not be able to play defense, and there was no consistency on either end. It was always one or the other, and now most nights they're starting to figure it out and get both of them.
I'll tell you what, it was when we looked at it, we looked back when the Cavs first really started struggling, and we sort of broke down the roster, and we looked at it on the show, and we said, don't worry, but Kyrie's going to start getting his points.
Yeah.
Dion's going to start getting his points. And all these guys we said would start coming along, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Bynum is now an everyday player.
Yeah.
That happened way faster than expected.
Yeah.
I mean, Dion Waiters, it was unexpected that they would put him with that second unit, but he's shut up, and he's put his head down and started working. And he's getting it done with that second unit. And now if you can have it, it's kind of great because he's the kind of guy who needs the ball. Kyrie needs the ball.
Yeah.
So you can't have two guys out there that need the ball to be playing. So all of a sudden it's almost like the second unit is like his little ragtag bunch to go out there and be the star of. And you know what? If he wants to be the superstar as the second unit, that's perfectly
Let
fine.
him.
I mean, that's ideal. Honestly, Kyrie, his starter lining up, who's just named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, averaging 29.9 or something like that points per game. He scored 30-plus in his last two games. I mean, that's impressive. And Dellavedova was a pretty impressive, out-of-nowhere kind of thing. Really playing stellar defense, but I think the biggest thing with him is what he does to the rest of the team. And I think it's because of what's in his name, or I should say what's not in his name, is when a guy like Dellavedova comes out there and he's a scrapper, he's a nobody, undrafted, so he's got to go in there and bring 110% on every play and go out there and play hard. And when you're standing next to him and it's like all of a sudden this, I don't even know who the hell he is, comes out and is buying into this system and playing up-tempo defense and everything. Like, I can't have whoever this is showing
right?
me up.
I can't have a kid from down the street
Exactly.
come out and play better than me.
I cannot have Delava, who's it, what's it, running at 1,000%, and I'm over here just waiting until I get the ball.
Yeah.
You have to show up. I mean, there's one problem I'm having with this team, one problem, and I don't know who to blame. And I think if it can fix itself, I think all of a sudden we're singing an entirely different tune. Anthony freaking Bennett.
Oh my God.
I heard someone say a couple of weeks ago, when, let's be honest, he'd been playing maybe a month or so, called him possibly the worst first-round pick ever. I think that was way too soon, but at the same time, so far he is.
And that's saying a lot, too. There's been some bad ones.
Exactly. Worst number one overall pick.
What is he? He's averaging 3 points a game.
I'm getting 2.2.
Okay.
I think that's like a last 10 kind of thing. But
oh yeah, that's
2.2, 0.2 assists, 1.9 rebound. Player efficiency rating of 1.14. I don't know how high the player efficiency rating goes, but I'm certain it's a lot higher than that.
How can you be that bad?
And you know what?
Clearly he was doing something right in college for the Cavs to take him.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand.
You, it's multiple things. It's the surgery. I think is not played up as much as it was. I think minutes are hurting him, and I think the biggest one before we go to break here is players should not be able to do the one and done in college. He's not NBA ready. Almost nobody from this draft class is. I'm certain that argument will come up more as the college
but
and
look
pro
how many
basketball
other
season goes
guys
on.
are, though.
We're gonna take a quick break, but when we get back, you're gonna hear us. Everything. What do we do? We do urinating off. It's a bowl season. Bunch of other stuff. 3 up, 3 down. All that so much for this. The High On Sports on the MSC Radio Network.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. MSC Radio Network is teaming up with Toys for Tots and making the holidays brighter. Bring an unwrapped toy to the MSC studios located at 1419 East 40th in Cleveland. Donation days and hours are at mscradionetwork.com.
I know. Oh my God, I know what we're gonna do. Oh, it's so delicious, I can almost taste it.
If you're looking for the best sub shop in town, look no further. Hanini Subs, located at 7310 Lorraine Avenue, is the place for you. Stop in for a cold cut sub, cheeseburger and fries, wingdings and fries, and so much more. And almost taste Hanini Subs at 7310 Lorraine Avenue is open 24 hours a day. Check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/burrito crazy. And if you mention MSC Radio Network, you'll get $1 off your meal. It's all good at Hanini Subs.
So damn good.
Looking for reliable and affordable Shoutcast audio or video hosting? JWN Media offers complete Shoutcast hosting solutions for business or personal use. All plans come with full listener stats, custom web scripts for implementing your service into your existing website, full server control, super fast network, and huge bandwidth limits, a 99.5% uptime guarantee, and friendly, knowledgeable support personnel dedicated to making your hosting experience fun and easy. With plans starting at only $3 a month, you have no excuse not to get a server of your own. Plus, with the option to add auto DJ and on-demand services, you can be confident your station will be all it can be. Custom plans are also available at their website. Simply visit jwnmedia.com and click the Shoutcast hosting link to get started right now. Lakewood Computer, located at 14035 Madison Avenue in Lakewood, has it all. If you're in need of computer repairs or want to cut the cost of ink cartridges and printing supplies, count on Lakewood Computer in Lakewood, Ohio to provide it all. For the past 5 years, Lakewood Computer has been providing you with a huge assortment of computer equipment and services at very competitive prices. Lakewood Computer purchases and sells pre-owned desktops, laptops, and related equipment. And they offer outstanding prices on aftermarket printing supplies, including toner cartridges and ink cartridges. With 29 years of professional experience, Lakewood Computer is highly confident in their ability to enhance your overall computing experience. Check them out online at joeslakewoodcomputer.com. That's joeslakewoodcomputer.com. Or give them a call toll-free, 855-580-0768. That's 855-580-0768. If you have a product or service, let people know about it. Get your message out there and advertise on MSC Radio Network. It's easier than you think, and the whole planet is listening. Find out how you can advertise. Email Chris at morningshowcentral.com. Oh, great. Not another Farmville request. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/morningshowcentral. Denying one Farmville request at a time. MSC Radio Network has just tweeted the following. This bowel movement won't come out. Check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/MSC Radio Network. User-friendly and ready to serve. MorningshowCentral.com. Call the show toll-free. 1-888-668-0742. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network on MorningshowCentral.com.
Oh, wow. Language.
Okay, he was PMSing.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network.
This is President Barack Obama, and you're listening to MSC Radio Network.
Pete 99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. Jumping from one web host to another can be frustrating. Finding a good web host can be unnerving for even the most experienced of web designers. That's why Uncensored Net Noise has chosen P99 Technologies as its web hosting supplier. Established in 1999, P99 Technologies has evolved into a first-class web hosting provider. Its 99.9% uptime rivals many in the industry. That's why they offer their 30-day guarantee, no questions asked. For more information, go to P99.com. P99 Technologies will help you get started with your web presence with honest and expert customer service. P99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. With hundreds of live weather products and layers and thousands of combinations, Weather Studio provides a professional graphics and storm monitoring solution without complex user knowledge and without the industry standard price tag of $1,000 plus broadcast systems. Weather Studio displays a plethora of critical atmospheric and geophysical data on an interactive GIS-enabled computer map. Get your free 14-day trial of Weather Studio at their website, weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. That's weatherstudio.paulmarv.com.
Yo, it's Woody. Now, I know a thing or two about women, and I want to help all the ladies out there take care of their men. Happy Endings Orgasmically Organic Massage Oil. Yeah, I said orgasmically organic, made right here in Cleveland. Now, no other product delivers this level of purity and performance. It's guaranteed to improve your overall experience and keeps that sensitive skin soft and smooth. Guys, don't be a tool. You're doing it anyway. Might as well do it right. Get your happy ending at happyendingsoil.com. That's happyendingsoil.com.
If you're looking for the best in musical equipment, recording gear, sound reinforcement, and more, Guitar Center has you covered. Guitar Center, located at 26635 Brook Park Road in North Olmsted, has the tools of your trade with the largest selection of music and sound gear in the area. They cater to your musical needs and have the knowledge to help you out. Guitar Center in North Olmsted. MorningShowCentral.com uses them. You should too. Need to know more? Go to GuitarCenter.com. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network.
Hello, and welcome back to High on Sports. I'm Ralphie, and with me, as always,
Ashley.
And I am Von Erich.
And whether you are joining us tonight on one of the many glorious apps here at home on your computer, thank you for making High on Sports a part of your evening. If you are not listening on one of the many glorious apps, remember to take your smartphone, search for TuneIn Radio. It is free to download. Just install it, search MSC Radio Network, hit play, and you can listen to us live on the go from your phone. It's that simple and easy. Remember, you can call the show toll free, 1-888-668-0742. Email your questions or comments to shows with an S at morningshowcentral.com. And of course, you can tweet at us at high_on_sports or with the hashtag High on Sports. Facebook.com/High on Sports is the, you guessed it, Facebook page. Go ahead and give it a like. And our website is highonsports.net. You can, you're distracting me. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, we're watching the replay of, what's the guy's name? We're watching the
Kevin Huber.
Kevin Huber, the punter for the Bengals, just gets rocked. Like, so hard, his parents probably felt it.
We'll post a replay of that on our Facebook page.
His jaw was broken.
And a vertebrae in his neck.
Oh, geez. Some neck and jaw? Oh, my God. That sucks.
That dude got lit up, man.
That sucks. Happy holidays.
Poor punter.
HighOnSports.net is the website. It's got the archive of all our past shows, Mark's blog, and a new piece coming up there tonight about NFL officials. And what can I say? How stupid they are. They're of course, he put it a lot more eloquently than that. But I'm just gonna say how they are dumb.
They're completely. They have one goddamn job, and they can't do it right.
Yeah, exactly. He's
They're
exactly
terrible.
Right. He's saying they shouldn't decide the game. That's what the blog is about. So I will post that tonight, a little bit after the show. Again, that is highonsports.net. All right, we got a jam-packed second half. It is round 2. Let's go. I don't even have these headphones on the right direction. That is how organized I am tonight.
They are backwards.
They're backwards. They're backwards. I was just worried about getting them on over this hat.
Well, that had to have been easier than the Cavs hat, because the Cavs hat had the ear flaps.
The Cavs hat was designed not to support headphones. That's how they were made. That was their purpose. But this was a little easier. This is the traditional, if you're just listening to the audio, this is the traditional Santa Claus hat. I'm Ralphie Claus now for the second half. Put on my red suit and the hat and everything. So instead of cheer, we're gonna bring urinating off. We're gonna bring urine to all the bad kids. So we'll start with Von Erich. Von Erich, what is urinating you off on the last High on Sports of 2013?
Well, the Major League Baseball has been putting a lot of new things into place for next year. The replay is one thing. Now metal detectors will be at every baseball stadium that you have to go through.
I don't mean to steal your thunder, but I do want to say real quick, since you're on the subject of things they're implementing, They did actually implement something good today. Did you hear about that? They're changing the rules of how you would get players coming over from Japan. There's no more of the blind bidding process where, like 2 years ago, the Rangers
highest
put
bidder.
$50 million. They've limited it now to the maximum bid you can do is $20 million towards the opposing or towards the Japanese club.
And every team can try and bid that amount.
Exactly. Every team
Gives
can
a running chance.
So that means now it's way more open it's better for the player and it's better for MLB. Better for everybody but Japan, but whatever.
Well, they're saying that a lot of their stars are gonna, just wait until they become actual free agents, so they don't have to worry about the
just
bidding.
leave anyways. Exactly. Anyways, go on. Sorry.
Well, that's one good thing that they did implement, but like we were saying, the bad things: instant replay, the metal detectors, which we're gonna have to suffer longer lines for. They want to add more things to the banned substance list. I don't know if that went through or not, but. One thing that is really going to bother a lot of people, myself included, is they plan to ban home plate collisions possibly as soon as next season, but no later than 2015.
It's terrible.
One of the most exciting plays that you can ever see on the field.
Collision at home plate.
Collision at home plate,
No
a
denying.
diving catch, a triple or inside the park home run. These are all things that you want to see. Something that, just builds up. When the guy's rounding the bases, everyone can see it coming, and everyone gets on their feet. They want that collision, and if Major League Baseball has it their way, we won't have that in a couple years.
And it's not even that, but what they were talking about is if they ban the collision, then catchers won't be allowed to block home plate anymore. So then basically catchers have to, you're telling them they have to give up that run now. Because they can't block home plate. They're wearing a boat. They're not wearing as much gear as maybe a football player, but they're wearing geir.
Now,
you have shin guards. You have a chest protector. You have a helmet on. I mean, yes, it does hurt. It hurts getting run over. When I was in high school, I got run over by a chick that was 6'2" and built like a man. Did I like it? No. And I dropped the ball because I literally did a cartwheel in the air. But you know what? She won. She knocked me out of the way, got the plate.
Now, Von Erich, does this mean they'll be treating basically home plate as just another base,
Right?
more or less? So, I mean, if he tags, in that situation where the runner's charging, now the catcher can't then block the plate, but has the ball in his glove, can he stick a foot on home plate and there's an out?
Well, under the rule changes, there's just a few things. I don't know about how the tagging goes, but the things that they are stating as of right now, catchers will not be allowed to block home plate.
Yeah.
Runners will not be permitted to target the catchers. The question of whether or not the plate was blocked or the runner targeted the catcher will be reviewable. And with an immediate remedy available to the umpires. And catchers or runners who violate the new rules will be subject to disciplinary action, including fines and or suspensions.
I'm sorry, if I'm a catcher, I'm not giving up a run. That's their right.
I guess
to
it's
be
just
able to
another
block the
base.
plate.
You gotta.
It sounds like that.
Well, but even any other base, besides first base, like second and third, when it's not a force out, technically they still kind of block the base too when they're waiting to tag the person. Because I always did. Because you got to stand.
Sounds like you cheated. No, I'm just kidding.
But all I gotta say, there's gonna be some high-scoring games.
Right, you're giving
maybe
up
that's what they
runs.
want, honestly.
What if it's the bottom of the ninth? There's 2 outs and it's a tie game.
Well, listen, hold on. I'll say I don't like it. I want to make that clear. I'm not a fan of get rid of the collisions. I like it. I love the collisions. But I think like the point you're making is like I don't think it's gonna be straight up like, well, you have to give up the run, because I believe if they're stopping the block, then it's gonna be like we were just talking about, where it'll be treated like any other play, where you can basically tag it and like, okay, you're out. Which, I mean, the part I hate about it is I don't feel like it's gonna be like, oh well, you just have to give up a run. I think the part that I hate is it's going to be just way more anticlimactic. Like it's going to be like, oh, I want to get that run. Well, no, you're out. Okay, have a nice day. Goodbye.
Yeah.
As opposed to 2 people actually competing. Like
who's
you want to
better?
try? Come on, come bring.
And that's like, if you're gonna run me over, you better hit me hard, or I'm holding on to the ball.
So I don't think it's necessarily a matter of just like, well, now they can't stop the run, because they still can if they tag the plate. It's
Well,
just
not if
so
it's
much
yeah,
more
if it's a
every
force out, but
play
if
at
it's
the
not
plate a slide. That's what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Just like every
and there's
other
going to be a
base.
lot more, I just forgot what you call it. A pickle in the middle going down.
Yeah, because
rundown. Thank you.
Because they're gonna be like, oh, well, I can't run them over, so I'm pretty much screwed. So then, they gotta try to figure out something. Because I mean, it just, I don't know. It's
that's the only part for me is I just think it's just making it a little more anticlimactic. I don't think it's like, well, oh man, if we wouldn't have given up a run, if he could still have collisions, but I just think it'll be like, well, that wasn't exciting. Just ran over and this picked him off and it was done.
Yeah, it's completely taking it's taking aspects out of the game. And it's just like we've been doing this for how long? And then one guy gets hurt and all of a sudden they have to change everything.
I think it's bad because you take one of the most exciting kinds of plays in baseball away, and I think that's a problem. Obviously, we love baseball. Von Erich more than any of us, obviously, but we love the sport. But at the same time, the writing's on the wall, people. It's hard to get the kids excited in it. It doesn't have the highlight reels.
Yeah,
it's got the cool catches and diving grabs and stuff like that. And the home runs, that stuff's cool. But
that's few and far between.
Exactly.
Every given pitch, you're not going to have that.
It's not putting the highlight reels together.
And honestly, there's really not that many catcher collisions, though. It's just when a runner's coming home and it's not a force out. Obviously, if it's a force out, they just touch home plate and they get the hell out of the way. But when you have to tag them because it's not a force out, there's no one behind them forcing them to come home. Then it creates that. But I mean, how many are there really? And how many times do people actually get hurt to the point where they can't play?
I think it's going to promote a lot more people to just hang out at third base. Like if I'm coming from second, I'm like, I'll just stay. No point in trying.
Well, no, because they can run home because the catcher can't block home plate.
No, but you can get him the ball and you can tag it. Is the whole point. But it's like if the whole point about that is like if he was going to block home plate, he's got the ball in his hand already. So he's got the ball in his hand already instead of them actually squaring off to see who's tougher, who's going to win the base, basically.
Yeah, but
he's
if
just
they're not
turn
blocking
around and
the
he's going to
plate,
tap it with his foot.
He can run right around him.
No, but he's tapping the foot and it'd be an out if he can't exactly come to it. It's
tap it. What are you
talking about? We're making it more complicated. It's just like any other base now. He can just.
You can't. If it's not a force out, you can't just tag the plate.
Well, that's true, but I mean, you
have to tag the runner.
But still, then he can just tag the runner. He's not. I mean, there's a difference between just standing and blocking it, and waiting for the collision. You can get him, and you can get him in either a rundown or I mean, there's other options. Again, it's not going to be just giving up a run. It's not. I mean, it does suck though. I will completely agree with you about that. Now let's go with something else. Thank you, Von Erich. I'm going to give my example now of another real wussy action in sports today.
Dude, man, this whole world is turning into babies.
Well, here's mine, though. Mine comes from a guy who's already a diva, so this is really nothing
he's
new.
Just a douche.
It comes to us from the pathetic world of Dallas Cowboys. I'll just ease into it slowly. Des Bryant's a little bitch.
Yes, he is.
Des Bryant left the game yesterday, the Cowboys and the Packers. Left the game with 1 minute 21 seconds left to play in the fourth. They were losing 37-36. The game was
a 1-point game.
But it was pretty much over. Granted, there could have been any kind of defensive meltdown or anything. Although at that point, I'm pretty sure they were just taking the knees. But even still, minute and change, and you're down one. I believe it was not too long after the interception thrown right on time by Mr. Tony Romo. But the point is, he left. He left the game to go to the locker room and start getting ready to go. And at first, people were outraged at him. How are you going to leave the game? Which first of all, how are you going to leave the game? That's my complaint, first off.
Yeah, I don't get to leave work early.
How are you going to leave a game healthy just because, well, it's over. Bye. Like, you don't get to do that.
No.
You don't get to do that. That's not your call. You are being paid ungodly sums to basically to work this period of time. You don't get to just be like, well, that's a good enough day, Like, you don't get to just go. You are paid to work that extra time, so you will continue to work until you're done. That's one thing. The other problem I have with it is why he says that he left. He claims now that he left because he didn't want people to see him on the sidelines because he was crying. There is no crying in football. Maybe if you won a championship or something like that, you have tears of joy, sure. But this dude,
no,
yeah.
You're making stuff up because you got yelled at for leaving early. So you're trying to come up with some cockamamie excuse. Oh, I was just so emotional. I couldn't handle the loss. I had to just get away.
Which, first off, listen, dude, you're a Dallas Cowboy. If you don't know how to handle a loss at this point, I don't know what to tell you. You've had Tony Romo at the helm for a number of years now. You need to be used to these last-second losses and stuff. How many Browns fans you think even after the Patriots game, which was heartbreaking, how many of them do you really think were like, I can't believe that happened? Let me tell you something. As a Browns fan, as soon as they started going like the Patriots, everybody was like, uh-oh.
Here we go again.
Everybody was kind of like hoping that somehow they win, even though they should have won and had a significant lead with not much time left. Every other team in the NFL, every other fan base was like, oh my God, we're going to do it. But as soon as we saw Tom Brady get going, just collectively as a city, Like we just knew. Like that onside kick didn't even surprise me that much. When they recovered it, I was like, this doesn't feel right. I got this uneasy feeling in my stomach. I've been here before. This has happened. I'm getting deja vu.
I mean, how many onside kicks honestly get recovered? But they do when you're playing Cleveland. Because
there's a magic in the air.
There
evil,
is.
dark magic. But a magic nonetheless.
They dangle victories in front of us. And then it's like that State Farm commercial. And like, oh, you almost got it this time, and they pull it away right in front of you. All
right, we only have a couple minutes left of the year, so.
There's no crying in baseball.
Why don't you leave her alone, Jimmy?
Oh, you zip it, Doris.
Crying?
This is 3 Up, 3 Down, but this is a special 3 Up, 3 Down we do on the end of the year edition of the show every year. This is 3 Up, 3 Down, all of 2013 edition. These are the best and worst years as opposed to weeks, so we spent a little more time on it. We're going to start with down number 3. I'm going to put a guy who I wouldn't have thought would be here last year. I think actually was in my up column last year. Robert Griffin III. 2013 saw him injured in the playoff game, again earlier this year in January. It saw him with the comeback. Brought to you by Adidas, who he came back and had what can only be described as a god-awful year.
Terrible.
And what Washington fans are hoping is the worst year of his career, and not a trend of things to come. And it all culminated with this week being benched in favor of Kirk Cousins. They can try to market it to you as much as they want we're shutting him down for the remainder of the year. That's a benching. Not for traditional reasons, but that's a benching, no matter how you cut it. Down number 2, Derrick Rose, another victim of the Adidas comeback. Adidas, stop having people come back.
Go with Nike, people.
Don't rush them.
Yeah.
Well, although Derrick Rose wasn't rushed, so let's be clear about that.
Yeah,
Derrick Rose started the year not playing, and then he came back for 10 games. He's now hurt again. So as the year comes to a close, and so does his season.
10 games in 3 years?
We've seen him play 10 games in 2013 and make $17 million. Fun fact. Down number 1, this is a special one, the entire state of Texas. Now, that doesn't immediately jump to mind, but then you break it down. The Longhorns, another not-so-great year, paired with the fact of Mac Brown now stepping down. He's going to stay for the bowl game, but they're now going to be looking for a head coach. You have the Texans, which is the worst team in football this year. You have the Astros, were the worst team in baseball this year. So, wow, Houston double dipping here. And it culminates with the Spurs losing an NBA title. And uptime number 3, the Red Sox went from the last team in the American League last season to World Series champions this year. Your classic worst to first turnaround. I could have probably put them number 1, but I went with some individuals who maybe had better personal years. Number 2 was LeBron. Don't want to, but MVP, Finals MVP, NBA champion. Again, that's why he spent back-to-back years in the up column. Couple of good years back-to-back here. Number 1, Joe Flacco. Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP.
Overrated.
Not to mention conned the Ravens into a mega deal that looks stupid as hell.
Right?
This isn't an argument about how good he is or isn't.
It's how stupid
this
the
is
Ravens are.
How good of a year did Joe Flacco have?
I get it.
Better
he
than
had
anybody.
a really good year. And the
Better than
Ravens
anybody.
showed their pure stupidity because that man didn't deserve a quarter of that contract that he got.
Also up is me forgetting to spend another year with you guys.
Aw.
Happy
How
holidays.
sweet.
Happy holidays to you guys.
Happy holidays to you.
Happy
my
holidays
friend.
to you, Chris. Happy holiday
Happy
to all the
holidays.
interns.
Merry Christmas
And
to
Mark,
all.
the blog man.
Marky
Mark on the blog. And happy holidays to all of you out there. That's going to do it for us. Up next is Everything in Between, where Von Erich will be joined by...
Hit the ground running.
Sounds great, and sounds like what we're going to do right now. Let's get out of here. For Chris, for Von Erich, for Ashley, I am Ralphie saying good night, everybody, and happy holidays from all of us here at MorningShowCentral.com.